Access your free language gifts right now, before they expire. Here's what you're getting this month. First, the Love Conversation Cheat Sheet. Do you know how to ask someone out in your target language? With this new cheat sheet, you'll master tons of romantic phrases, just in time for Valentine's Day. Download it for free right now.
Second, the 400 Everyday Phrases for Beginners ebook. This bonus ebook will teach you over 400 words and phrases related to daily activities, like waking up, making breakfast, going to work or school, and much more.
Third, can you talk about containers in your target language? Learn how to say box, bottle, bin, and much more with this quick vocabulary bonus. Fourth, must-know Valentine's Day vocabulary. Can you talk about Valentine's Day in your target language? You'll be able to with this quick 1-minute vocabulary lesson. Fifth, the top 15 encouraging phrases. Want to be able to say positive phrases like believe in yourself and don't give up? Then get this bonus phrase lesson. Sixth, free audiobooks. Unlock our huge library of language learning audiobooks. Save them to any device and listen and learn. They're yours to keep forever. And finally, the deal of the month. If you want to finally master the language with lessons by real teachers and our complete language learning program, take the 12-month challenge and get 12 months of Premium or Premium Plus at up to 45% off. To get your gifts and language learning resources, click the link in the description below. Download them right now before they expire.
Today, we're going to have a look at 5 uses for the present perfect tense in Spanish. Hola, soy Brenda Romagnolo, tu profesora de español. Hi, I'm Brenda Romagnolo, your Spanish teacher. Hoy vamos a ver los usos del pretérito perfecto compuesto en español. ¿Cómo va a funcionar la clase de hoy? Te voy a dar la explicación en español y luego voy a hacer una pequeña traducción para asegurarnos de que puedas entender esta clase. So how this lesson is going to work, I'm going to do the explanation first in Spanish, so that you practice listening comprehension, and if your level is good enough, then that's great, but if you're a beginner, don't worry, I'll do this explanation as well in English. Muy bien, el pretérito perfecto compuesto se forma con el verbo haber más el pasado participio de el verbo. Vamos a conjugar entonces el verbo haber. Vamos a decir yo he, tú has, él, ella, usted ha, nosotros hemos, vosotros habéis, ustedes han y ellos, ellas han. Y para formar el participio del verbo, vamos a dividir el verbo en la raíz y la terminación. Para formar los participios regulares, vamos a mantener la raíz del verbo y solo vamos a cambiar la terminación. Los verbos que terminan en ar vamos a cambiar por ado, ¿sí? Por ejemplo, trabajar, vamos a decir trabajado, hablar, hablado, y los verbos que terminan en er y también en ir, vamos a cambiar por ido. Por ejemplo, comer, comido, correr, corrido, vivir, vivido, decidir, decidido. Vamos entonces a conjugar el pretérito perfecto compuesto del verbo trabajar, simplemente para que tengamos un ejemplo. Yo he trabajado, tú has trabajado, él, ella, usted ha trabajado, nosotros hemos trabajado, vosotros habéis trabajado, ustedes han trabajado y ellos, ellas han trabajado. So we're going to form the present perfect tense in Spanish. Pay attention that in Spanish we actually call it the past perfect, right? But in English we call it the present perfect. It's exactly the same tense. And we use it by conjugating the verb haber and then having the past participle of the verb. So how we form the past participle is we have to take into account the stem of the verb and the ending. For regular past participles, we're just going to keep the same stem of the verb, and then we're going just to change the ending. For the verbs ending in ar, we're going to change them to ado, and then for the verbs ending in er and ir, we're going to change them to ido. Uso número 1. Usamos el pretérito perfecto compuesto para hablar de una acción que empezó en el pasado y que aún continúa en el presente. Por ejemplo, hemos vivido aquí por más de 10 años. Hace 5 años que he trabajado en esta empresa. En este caso podemos ver que yo empecé a vivir aquí en el pasado y que continúo viviendo en este lugar en este momento. So the first use that you can see is we use it to talk about an action that started in the past and then continues to be the case, it continues to happen at the moment of speaking, in the present. He trabajado en esta empresa por 5 años, significa que empecé a trabajar en el pasado 5 años atrás, pero que todavía continúo trabajando para esta empresa hoy. As you can see here in the I have lived here for this long or I have worked for this company for this long means I started to live here and I started to work for this company in the past, but then I continue to live here and I continue to work for this company in the present. Uso número 2. Para hablar de una acción que ha sucedido en el pasado una o varias veces y que existe la posibilidad de que vuelva a ocurrir. Por ejemplo, Antonio ha estado enfermo varias veces. He visitado Cartagena 3 veces este año. Como puedes ver aquí, son acciones pasadas que han ocurrido y que es muy probable de que puedan volver a pasar. Por eso no son acciones completamente pasadas. Usamos el pretérito perfecto compuesto para indicar que son acciones que ocurrieron, pero que también pueden volver a ocurrir. So use number 2 is to talk about an action that happened in the past and it's actually likely that it will happen again. In the case of Antonio, who has been sick a few times, that means that he's very likely to get sick again. And so is the fact that I have traveled to Cartagena a few times this year. In that case, we can see that it's also another action that is likely to happen again. Uso número 3. Para hablar de una acción que ocurrió en el pasado, pero que las consecuencias de esta acción se sienten en el presente, en este momento. O sea, es una acción que sucedió en el pasado, pero que las consecuencias de esa acción se sienten en este momento. Por ejemplo, han hospitalizado a Ana. Estoy un poco preocupada. He trabajado todo el día. Estoy muy cansada. Como puedes ver aquí, Ana está en el hospital y la han hospitalizado. Esa acción sucedió en el pasado y todavía continúa en el presente, pero puedes ver que la consecuencia es que yo estoy preocupada. Esa consecuencia que continúa en el presente es una consecuencia de la hospitalización de Ana. Por eso usamos ese verbo en el pretérito perfecto compuesto. He trabajado todo el día. Este es un buen ejemplo porque aquí podemos ver que esta acción en realidad ha terminado. Yo no estoy trabajando en este momento, pero las consecuencias se sienten en este momento. Podemos ver la consecuencia es que estoy cansada porque he trabajado. Por eso usamos este verbo en el pretérito perfecto compuesto. Es para enfatizar, muy bien, la duración de esa acción y la consecuencia. So use number 3 is to talk about an action that happened in the past, but that the consequences are in the present. That you can still feel the consequences or this action has some consequences in the present time. In the case of Anna being hospitalized, you can see that I'm worried about it. So that has happened. She still may be in hospital at the moment of speaking, but the biggest thing about this using this tense in this case is because of the consequence. I'm telling you how I'm feeling. Yes, I'm worried. The other example is even better because I'm saying I have worked all day and now I'm tired. So in that case that I have worked all day, it doesn't mean that I'm still working now. Now it's pretty obvious that I have finished work, but you can see the consequence there of being tired. And the explanation for being tired is because I have worked all day. So that consequence is, that is the consequence, being tired is the consequence of the action of having worked all day. Número 4. Para hablar de una acción que aún no ha sucedido, pero que se espera que suceda en algún momento. Y es particularmente común usarla con el adverbio de negación no y los adverbios aún y todavía. Por ejemplo, ¿todavía no has terminado los deberes? Aún no he pagado mis cuentas de este mes. ¿Todavía no has terminado los deberes? Aquí puedes ver que se espera que termines tu tarea, pero es una acción que se espera que tenga una finalización. Es una acción que se espera que se termine, pero que no ha sucedido por ahora, hasta el momento. Pero técnicamente sucederá. Aún no he pagado mis cuentas de este mes. También podemos ver en este ejemplo que la acción de pagar las cuentas es algo que se espera que hagas y que es muy probable que suceda, pero todavía no se ha realizado. Use number 4 is to talk about actions that haven't happened yet, but they're expected to happen at some point. And it's very common to use it with the adverb of negation no before the verb, of course, and also with some adverbs such as aún and todavía, which mean still, right? Aún and todavía, they both mean still. However, when we use it with the adverb of negation no, they actually means not yet. So you can see here this idea of not having done something yet. It means that it's actually likely that it will happen, but it hasn't been the case at this point. So haven't you finished your homework? It means that it's an action that is expected, that will happen, and that it will be completed at some point. The same with paying your bills. You have to pay your bills, but it's something that you haven't done just yet. Uso número 5 es para hablar de una acción que ha ocurrido en un pasado reciente. Es decir, para hablar de una acción o un evento en el pasado que ha ocurrido, pero que no tiene un tiempo específico. Por lo general, se refiere a una acción que ha sido completada en un pasado reciente. Por ejemplo, esta mañana he visto a María. Ana nos ha esperado en la recepción. El correo ha llegado. Como puedes ver aquí, todos estos eventos están en el pasado, han sido completados, no continúan en el presente, pero es un tiempo no muy específico. Esta mañana puede ser a las 8 de la mañana, a las 9 o 10, y que no tienen un tiempo de terminación específico. Y también podemos ver aquí que el marcador de tiempo es un pasado reciente. No podemos usar, por ejemplo, el pretérito perfecto compuesto con ayer. Ayer he visto a María es incorrecto. Tenemos que usar aquí el pretérito o el indefinido. Ayer vi a María. So use number 5 is to talk about an action that has happened in a recent past. And these actions are usually not very specific when it comes to timing. So that's why generally speaking, we use this present tense in Spanish to talk about an action that has recently been completed. As you can see, this morning I have seen Maria. It's a time frame that is not very specific, and it's a recent past. We cannot use the present perfect tense in Spanish with, for example, the time marker yesterday. In that case, we would have to use the pretérito or indefinido, which is the past tense. Una aclaración extra es que recuerda, también podemos usar otra estructura en español para hablar de una acción que ha sucedido recientemente. Puedes hacerlo con el verbo acabar de más infinitivo. Por ejemplo, el correo acaba de llegar. También podemos usar esta estructura para hablar de un periodo de tiempo que no es específico, pero en comparación, el pretérito perfecto compuesto es inclusive aún menos específico que la estructura de acabar de más infinitivo. So we also have a different structure in Spanish that you can use to talk about recent actions or actions that happened just recently with el verbo acabar de más the infinitive verb. Por ejemplo, el correo acaba de llegar. So we use this structure in Spanish to also describe an action that has just recently happened. But in comparison, the present perfect tense in Spanish is even less specific of when the action actually took place. Muy bien, eso es todo por hoy. Espero que te haya gustado esta clase con los diferentes usos del pretérito perfecto compuesto. I hope you like this lesson and that now you know when to use the present perfect tense in Spanish. If you like this video, give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more Spanish lessons. Nos vemos la próxima clase. Adiós, hasta luego.
Hola.
Hola.
Efra, te quiero.
No manches, esperé por esto años y años. Yo también te amo.
Pero como amigo.
Ah, como amigo, sí, yo también, por eso. O sea, a eso me refería. Hey, ¿qué está pasando aquí?
A ti te amo.
¿Qué? ¿De verdad?
Te adoro.
Oye, yo también te amo y te adoro. Qué hermoso saberlo. Hello there, my beautiful friends from SpanishBall101.com. As you might know, my name is Diego.
And I'm Efraín.
And today we have a very special guest who is...
Mayra.
And in this video, we're going to tell you the difference between these three phrases. Te quiero, te amo, and te adoro. So hopefully, guys, if you're interested, enjoy this video. Okay guys, so why are we making this video? Well, because in English you have the phrase I love you, which is so romantic. But in Spanish we have two possible translations. The first one is te quiero and the second one is te amo. But in this video we're also going to include another phrase which is te adoro, which actually translates to I adore you. So let's see what is the nuance, what is the difference between these three phrases. So let's start.
Chicos, los quiero mucho. Gracias por estar conmigo todo este tiempo.
Efraín, qué lindo eres. Nosotros también te queremos mucho,
Sí,
ven.
te queremos.
Ven. Okay, so we have te quiero. Te quiero. And this could be translated as I love you, but this is a less passionate and a gentle kind of love, okay? Let me explain myself. You can throw around this love freely. Te quiero, te quiero, te quiero, te quiero, yeah. Okay, so for example, you can say it to a partner when you just started a relationship. Or even you can say it to a close friend. Or you can hear this from a kid who is glad to have you in his or her life. Let me give you an example. Apenas llevamos 3 meses de relación y ya te quiero. Or let me give you another example. Efraín, eres un gran amigo. Te quiero. Now, we also can add the word mucho to te quiero, thus saying te quiero mucho. These make it slightly more intense. So, once again, it has a very similar meaning, but it makes it slightly more intense. So, once again, this is rather like for a relationship. When you have a couple and you have been dating for a few months, you might say, or even weeks, love depends on how you feel. Yeah. But this is basically a love that you can say, oh yeah, I love you, but I mean, and later I will love someone else. It's not like a profound, like a very deep or serious love.
Mayra, ¿te acuerdas de tus novios o de algún novio en la secundaria?
Sí, Ricardo. Era un tonto, pero lo quise mucho.
Ay, qué bonito. Oye, pero, ¿y Diego?
Ah, bueno, a ese hombre lo amo.
The next one is a very, very profound phrase. Te amo. I love you. Te amo. So this is also I love you, but this is stronger than just te quiero. Why? Because this type of love, this type of phrase te amo is something that you cannot really throw around freely like, hey, te amo, te amo, te amo. No, but this is rather a strong feeling, a profound feeling. Te amo. This is something that you will expect someone tells you on their starry night, or when you are in the altar, or when you propose to someone. So this is something that is expected from a couple who have been together for many years. When you are living with someone, this is expected to be said. Te amo. Okay? So once again, this is much more stronger than just te quiero. This is the kind of love that you cannot truly justify. It's like, why do you love him or why do you love her? It's like, I don't know, I just feel like it. Is actually accepting the other with all his virtues and flaws. Okay? Accepting him, accepting her, and having a profound feeling towards him or her. Okay? So that's te amo. Let's see one example of this. Desde que te conocí, eres muy importante para mí. Te amo.
No.
Desde que te conocí, eres muy importante para mí. Te amo. Since I met you, you're so special to me. I love you.
Nada más que hermosa. Oye, es que de verdad te adoro. Eres muy linda, eres muy guapa, eres muy bella. De verdad te adoro.
Te adoro. Te adoro. And it could be translated as I adore you. So it is a way to express the passionate desire you have for someone. Sometimes. But in a church, it changes its meaning. Because in Spanish, it also could mean I worship you. So, for example, in a church, you could say, te adoro. Yeah, like when you are worshiping God, right? Te adoro. Okay. In the church. Okay, so when you use it with a friend, a pet, or even a partner, it changes its meaning to I adore you. So let me, before that, it is used to emphasize the love you have for someone without using te amo. And you could also express the admiration you have for someone. So for example, when you are with a partner, me encanta todo lo que haces. Te adoro. Nice. Okay. I like it. With a pet. Ay, te adoro. Yeah, I do that all the time. Okay, so you are saying that te adoro is when you have a profound feeling towards someone, but also you want to demonstrate it with passion, but also admiration, right?
Ah, right.
Yeah, and I think it's also with respect. When you respect someone for what he or she does, so it's like, hey, te adoro. So it's like a mixture of things, right? Okay.
That's it for today, my beautiful friends of SpanishPod101.com. If you like this video, please give us your thumbs up, share this video with other learners for they to know the difference between te quiero, te amo, y te adoro. And comment down there, we will reply to your comments and see you in our next video. Subscribe to this channel.
¿Qué estás viendo?
Oye, te gusta mucho Andrea, ¿verdad?
No, me gusta muchísimo. Mira qué hermosa es.
Está linda.
111, 113. ¡Ay, Efra! ¡Qué bueno que ya llegaste! Mira, es tu turno, ok. Sale, 10 repeticiones.
100.
Ok. Vamos.
Uno.
¡Está pesadísimo!
Ok, tienes toda la razón. Mejor.
¡Pesadísimo!
Ok, intenta con esta pesa.
Ok.
Uno.
Está pesado.
Ok. Bien, quizás después. Sí, ok. Hey, how are you there, guys? So, as you might heard, we said mucho and muchísimo, and also we said pesado and pesadísimo. So, what is the difference between using these words mucho, muchísimo, pesado, pesadísimo? So, in this video, we're going to check when to use ísimo in the adjectives, when to use it, and how to use it. As you might know, my name is Diego.
And I'm Efraín.
So, enjoy this video. Woo! Okay, my friends from SpanishBall101.com, let's get started. So, the suffix ísimo, or for feminine, ísima, it's basically the Latin suffix for expressing the superlative. It is normally appended in some adjectives, some adjetivos calificativos, okay, to make or to form the superlative. And superlativo. Superlativo significa...
Oh, yo sé qué significa.
wow.
El grado más alto o la mayor intensidad de la cualidad que se expresa.
Or, in other words, when you add the suffix ísimo or ísima for the feminine, what you are doing is you are making the adjective more intense. You are making the adjective stronger. So it's not the same when you say pesado, which is the quality or the characteristic, than saying pesadísimo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have 8 rules for when to use and how to use ísimo.
Yeah.
That we're going to start telling you right now.
So the first one is when you have an adjective that ends with L, R, and sit, you just have to add the suffix. That's it. For example, fácil, facilísimo. Like this.
Very easy.
Fácil, facilísimo.
Okay. Es facilísimo.
Es facilísimo. Okay, the next one, feroz, ferocísimo. But look at this. Sorry. Okay, so when you have a sit at the end of your adjective, you have to change it to a C. Okay, so in this example, feroz, ferocísimo. The next one, popular, popularísimo.
Nice. So it ends in R, so you just need to add ísimo.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. But be careful because we have an exception, and that's when the adjectives ends in OR.
Okay.
Such as mayor.
Uh-huh.
It ends in OR. But in this case, you just need to add a C and then the suffix. Therefore, mayor, you will change it to mayorcísimo. The next rule is when the adjectives ends in a non-tonic vowel. What is a tonic vowel, by the way?
I don't know.
So a tonic vowel, it's a vowel that is stressed. That is,
Okay.
it sounds stronger than a previous one. That's a tonic vowel.
Okay.
Okay? So when an adjective ends in a non-tonic vowel, you just need to drop that vowel and just add ísimo or ísima.
Okay.
Such as listo, you drop the O and then you say listísimo. Or dulce, okay, sweet. Dulce,
Okay.
dulcísimo. Okay, what about cursi? Well, cursi is an exception because you cannot say cursísimo, but rather you say cursilísimo. It's just an exception.
So the next one, when an adjective ends with an N, you just have to add a C before the suffix. Let me give you 2 examples. Joven, jovencísimo. Jovencísimo. The next one, bribón, briboncísimo. Briboncísimo.
Very good. Okay.
Yeah.
The next rule is continuing with the tonic vowels. When an adjective ends in a tonic vowel, that is a vowel that sounds stressed,
Okay.
the superlative with ísimo cannot be used.
Cool.
For example, take into account this word, carmesí. Carmesí, like the color, carmesí. So it ends in a tonic vowel. You cannot say carmesísimo. Sounds kind of weird. So how will you form the superlative in these cases? So you just need to add muy at the beginning. Okay, so you don't say carmesísimo, but rather muy carmesí. Okay.
So the next one, when the adjective ends with non-tonic groups, for example, UE, UO, and UA.
Yeah, the diphthongs.
The diphthongs. You had it better. Okay, the last vowel is eliminated.
You drop the last vowel. Nice.
So for example, tenue, tenuísimo. Ingenuo, ingenuísimo.
You drop the O and then you add ísimo. Interesting.
You drop the O. For example, in tenue, you drop the I.
Tenuísimo. Yeah, that's right.
Tenuísimo.
Yeah.
Tenuísimo.
The next rule is the adjectives that ends in the diphthong. I-O or I-A. When you add the suffix, you need to lose both vowels.
Okay.
So, for example, you can say amplio, amplísimo. You see? You drop the diphthong, I-O.
The next one, adjectives ending with hiatus. What is an hiatus? They are diphthongs with accent marks, like I, accent mark O, I, accent mark A. They lose their last vowel.
Interesting.
Yeah, so for example, frío, you take off the O, friísimo. Fría, friísima.
Nice, very good. Okay, the last rule is the following. So when you have in a word included the diphthong UE, okay, or also the diphthong IE, that is in the middle of the word, not at the end, but in the middle of the word. So you are going to take the Latin root of the word and then just add ísimo. Let's see 3 examples here, very interesting, okay? So we have the first one, fuerte, fuerte, okay? So fuerte has a diphthong UE in the middle, ue. So it takes the Latin root and you drop the E at the end, okay, according to the standard rules.
Okay.
Therefore, you will say fortísimo, fortísimo. The next one, cierto, cierto. It ends in a vowel, but it has the diphthong IE in the middle, cierto. You will say certísimo because cer is the Latin root of cierto. Interesting. Okay. Or for example, caliente. Caliente has a diphthong IE in the middle and it ends as well in a vowel. So you take the Latin root and you say calentísimo. Calentísimo.
Okay. Oh, but however, don't worry about this because Spanish speakers usually use the standard version of these ones. For example, instead of saying fortísimo, they usually say fuertísimo.
Interesting.
And both of them are accepted. Like the next one, ciertísimo.
Ah, that's also, instead of certísimo, ciertísimo.
Ciertísimo.
That's correct.
Both are correct. Or the last one, calentísimo. No, they usually say calientísimo.
Yeah, both terms are accepted. They are correct. Very good. So hopefully, guys, this is not confusing for you. But even if at the end you say, oh my God, Diego, Efrain, these rules are so difficult to retain, to memorize. So we have a good alternative and good news for you guys. Why? Because there is another word for forming a superlative.
Okay.
What is that form? Well, instead of just learning all these rules, you will usually find that in some conversations, we normally add ísimo or ísima in some cases, such as mucho, we say muchísimo, mucha, muchísimo, or we just want to express high quality. However, you can also use muy before the adjective, and it's basically the same. Frío, friísimo, is the same as muy frío.
Okay.
Calentísimo is the same as muy caliente.
Muy caliente.
Muy caliente. Okay, or ferocísimo is the same as muy feroz.
And I was thinking,
You're like, what?
Same as what? what?
That's it for today, my beautiful friends of SpanishPod101.com. Please give us your like down there. Share this video with other learners. Write your comments down there. And please subscribe to this beautiful channel so you can know when we upload a new video.
That's correct, my friends from SpanishPod101.com. So, see you later, guys.
Hasta luego.
Wait. What is she doing here?
Ah, she's very pretty, don't you think? Es muy bonita, ¿verdad que sí? Preciosa, ¿verdad que sí? Y me gusta hablar con ella en español.
Yeah, that's true. So today we're going to give you phrases to talk with your pet.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
Yeah, so enjoy this video.
Woo!
Okay, my friends from SpanishBall101.com. So, what happens when you don't have anyone to practice your Spanish with?
I don't know.
Well, what about your cat or your dog?
Yeah,
Of course, you can practice many things with him or with her, and even if you make a mistake, he will be there unconditionally, and he will judge you if you make a mistake or something. So that's why we're going to show you some expressions, some phrases to speak with your pet.
With your best friend.
Yeah, with your best friend.
So, before talking... Okay, so... how do you say pet in Spanish? So the word for talking about pets in Spanish is mascota. Una mascota. A pet. Which is pretty similar to the word in English mascot.
Yeah.
But we already know that mascot is like this symbol for teams.
That's a
Right?
mascot. That's correct.
Wow. So before talking about, before talking with our dogs or cats, let's see how to refer to them.
Yeah, exactly.
So, for example, how do you say dog in Spanish? Perro. El perro. El perro. The dog. And some popular breeds of dogs are...
razas
Yeah.
populares.
Las razas populares son el dogo argentino,
I like that. Me gusta.
el San Bernardo, el husky, which is the one you have,
Exacto, mi husky, perfecto.
or the Mexican one, el mexicano, el cholo escuincle.
Very good.
Cholo escuincle. Some people say cholo escuincle.
Either or is correct. Yeah, we
Uh-huh.
already covered this sound, right? Very good. Okay, what about cats? So, the word in Spanish for cat is gato.
Okay.
Gato. Entonces, Efraín, ¿tú eres más de perros o de gatos?
Definitivamente soy más de gatos.
No, yo soy más de perros. De hecho, tengo 9 perros en mi casa.
¿9 perros?
No lo he hecho. Sí, 9 perros en mi casa.
Okay, so we divided this lesson into 5 sections of phrases. Let's start with when you arrive at home.
Nice.
What do you say when you arrive? ¡Hey! ¡Ya llegué! Or even you can say, ¿dónde está mi gordito? And you add some adjectives. ¿Dónde está mi peludito?
Yeah, or mi precioso.
Ajá.
¿Dónde está mi hermoso?
¿Dónde está mi guapo?
Yeah, exactly. Whatever adjective, nice adjective you want to say to your dog or cat, that works. Exactly, yeah. So, why don't we proceed to some very common commands, very useful commands as well. So, for example, I like to say a lot, hey, ven. Or, as I usually say, vente para acá, which is come or come here. Or I also like to say, hey, échate, which is like, hey, lay down. Échate. Okay, the next one, tranquilo. When he is barking or he seems kind of rude, is hey, tranquilo, which is easy. Or I like, for example, sometimes my dog, he likes to jump on my furniture,
Yeah, it happens
especially
a lot.
to sofa or whatever. So in that case, I say, bájate de ahí. Bájate de ahí. Exactly. Or for example, siéntate.
Okay.
Sit down. Siéntate. Sit down. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
or I can also say, bebe tu agua. Bebe tu agua. Drink your water. Yeah, or sometimes, for example, when he has something, he's beating something like something useful for me or a toy or whatever I don't want him to bite, I say, suéltalo.
Suéltalo.
Suéltalo. Okay, like leave it.
Okay.
Suéltalo. Do you know any alternative for that?
Déjalo.
I like, yeah.
Déjalo.
Like, leave it.
Yeah.
Leave it. So, déjalo or suéltalo.
Well, I use a lot, a different one, which is deja ahí.
Okay, that also works. Deja ahí. So here you have three alternatives. Suéltalo, leave it. Deja ahí, like leave that. Deja ahí, or déjalo.
Déjalo.
Déjalo, leave it.
Well, now we have phrases for communicating with your pet. The first one, ¿tienes hambre? Sí. The next one, ¿quieres salir? ¿Quieres salir? No. Okay. Or, ¿tienes sed? ¿Tienes sed? ¿Tienes sed?
Sí, una cerveza.
So, ¿quieres salir? No. Okay. Or when she or he sneezes, in this case she, salud. Uy.
So the next section is compliments. So what happens when you want, for example, to praise your dog? So you can say bien or muy bien. Okay? So, and also, what happens when you want to say a good adjective to her or to him? So you can say que plus a nice adjective. For example, qué hermosa eres, qué hermosa. Or, for example, qué bella. Like how pretty, how beautiful. Qué bella, qué hermosa, qué bonita as well. Okay? And another way for praising your dog or for making a compliment is saying good boy or good girl. That is, buen perro, hey, buen perro. Or even here in Mexico, it's very common to say buen chico or buena chica, buena chica.
So when you leave home, you need some phrases to say to your pet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like for example, ya me voy. En unos minutos regreso. No hagas travesuras. Te lo encargo, Diego.
Claro. Qué hermoso.
No hagas travesuras. No hagas travesuras. En unos minutos regreso. En unos minutos regreso.
Or you can say, ya me voy. Te portas bien. ¿Ok? Ya me voy. Te portas bien. Te portas bien, ¿eh? Uy, qué hermoso. Tú también, Efra. That's it for today, my beautiful friends from SpanishBall101.com. We hope that you have enjoyed this video. If so, please give us your thumbs up and share this video with other learners who want to talk to their pets in Spanish. So just here, my beautiful dog. And see you in our upcoming video, guys.
Hasta luego. Has hecho un pedote.
¿Sí? Efra, ¿en dónde está mi disco de Kalimba?
¿Quién usa discos hoy en día?
Ese disco es mi favorito. Siempre lo quise. ¿Dónde lo pusiste?
Lo dejé sobre esa silla.
¿Qué silla? Aquí solo hay dos y están vacías.
Esa silla en tu azotea.
Ah, quisiste decir aquella silla en tu azotea y no está.
Ah, entonces está en esa mesa.
Ah, solo hay una y tampoco está. Ay.
Esa mesa en tu comedor. Ay.
Aquella mesa en tu comedor. Efra, mira, cuando algo está lejos debes de usar aquel, aquella, aquellos y aquellas. Y si estás cerca de la persona con la que hablas, entonces dices ese, esa, esos y esas.
Ajá, sí. ¿Ya la encontraste o no?
No, la verdad. Oh. Espera. Ya lo encontré.
Hey there, friends of SpanishPod101.com. I'm Efraín.
And I'm Diego.
And maybe you're wondering when to use ese or esa and when to use aquel and aquella. Actually, it's pretty easy. And if you are wondering how to use them, let us demonstrate to you that it is easy to understand them and dominate them. And of course, you can speak better than me.
Yeah. Okay, guys, so enjoy this video.
Whoa!
Okay guys, so as we said before, ese and aquel are demonstrative adjectives. It helps us to point out things that are not close from us. Okay, so ese, it is similar to that in English or those in the plural version. Now, when are we going to use ese? You're going to use ese when the thing you are referring to is close to the listener but not necessarily close to the speaker. Okay, so it is not within reach from the speaker, but it is close to the listener. So that's where you're going to use ese.
Yeah.
So in ese we have 4 variants. We have ese, esa, esos, and esas. When are we going to use each one? Ese, you're going to use it for the masculine singular. Okay? Masculine singular. Esa is going to be used for feminine singular. Then we have esos, which is masculine plural, and then esas for feminine plural. Why don't we give some examples just to clarify this?
Yeah, let me give you the first example. Ese muñeco que está detrás de ti siempre me ha dado miedo.
Sí, buen ejemplo. ¿Qué muñeco? Okay, well, the next one. Esa. For example, playera. In Mexico, a playera, by the way, is a t-shirt. So, for example, I can say, esa playera está muy bonita. Esa playera está muy bonita.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now with esos, those. Esos chicos siempre me han hecho reír.
También a mí son muy buenos. Okay, and finally with esas. For example, mira mis películas, Efra.
Oh, esas son muy buenas.
Sí, esas películas son mis favoritas, las de Halloween.
Okay, now we are going to talk about aquel. And aquel is used to talk about nouns that are far away from the listener and the speaker.
Very interesting. Okay, so contrary to ese, aquel, you're going to use it when the thing, the noun, is far from the speaker, but also from the listener. And in ese is just, it is close to the listener. So that's the difference between ese and aquel. And we have 4 variations. So the first one is aquel for masculine singular. Then we have aquella for feminine singular, aquellos for masculine plural, and then we have aquellas for feminine plural. Now, mind you, the things could be physical or could be figuratively things.
Okay.
We will give you an example.
Okay, the first one is figuratively.
Yeah, exactly.
¿Recuerdas aquel día en que fuimos a Vallarta?
Por supuesto. Aquellos momentos son inolvidables. Okay, so guys, in this case, aquel, we're going to use it because dia is masculine. Okay, and it is far from us because it happened a long time ago. Okay, so a long time ago, it was like 2 or 3 weeks, right? No, I don't know, it was long time ago. Okay, and momentos, once again, is figuratively because you cannot touch, you cannot like grab the moment or a day. So it's figuratively a noun. So, but it's also far, those moments, or the moments over there.
Yep.
Okay, very good. Now let's continue with aquella and aquellas. One example.
Oye, y hablando de Vallarta, ¿te acuerdas de aquella vez que conocimos a las francesas?
Oui. Por supuesto que me acuerdo ese día que las conocimos. Aunque, bueno, todo pasó muy rápido. Oye, pero sabes, me empieza a dar un poco de hambre.
Oh, ¿por qué no tomas una de aquellas manzanas que están sobre la nevera?
Oh, sí, muy buena idea.
Vamos.
Claro. That's it for today, my beautiful friends from SpanishBall101.com. We hope that you have enjoyed this video. If so, please give it your thumbs up and also share this video with other learners so they can also learn how to use these demonstrative adjectives. So, please give us your thumbs up and also comment this video. and see you in our upcoming one. Hasta luego.
Hola a todos. Soy Víctor Trejo. Hi everyone. I'm Víctor Trejo. In this lesson, you'll learn how to use essential social expressions such as thank you, you're welcome, excuse me, and I'm sorry.
This is Ben Lee, and he's on the train. A fellow passenger drops his wallet as he exits the train. Ben picks up the wallet and chases after the man. He calls to the man by saying, "Excuse me." Disculpe. Listen to the following 3 short dialogues between Ben and the man. Disculpe.
Sí, dígame.
Ben hands the man the wallet.
Muchas gracias.
No hay de qué. Ben turns to board the train, but the door's shut.
Perdón.
No hay problema. Once more with the English translation. Disculpe. Excuse me.
Sí, dígame.
Yes, may I help you? Literally, tell me. Ben hands the man the wallet.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. No hay de qué. You're welcome. Ben turns to board the train, but the door's shut. The man apologizes.
Perdón.
Sorry. No hay problema. No problem.
Let's take a closer look at these conversations.
First, do you remember how Ben Lee says, "Excuse me"? Disculpe. In this context,
Disculpe.
is used to get someone's attention and translates as "excuse me."
Disculpe.
Disculpe. This is a formal expression. Ben uses it because he's speaking with someone he doesn't know. Note, this expression can also be used as a mild apology. But here, Ben uses it to get the attention of the person he's chasing after. Remember this expression. You'll use it later in the lesson. Do you remember how the passenger acknowledges Ben by saying, "Yes, tell me"?
Sí, dígame.
First is,
Sí,
yes.
sí, sí,
Next is,
dígame.
which translates as, "May I help you" in this context, but literally means, "Tell me."
Dígame. Dígame. Diga,
Is from the verb,
decir.
meaning to tell.
Decir.
It is attached to the pronoun,
Me.
me, in this context.
Me.
Together it's,
Dígame.
literally, "Tell me."
Dígame.
This is also a formal expression. And the speaker prompts Ben to speak by saying,
Dígame.
altogether,
Sí, dígame.
"Yes, may I help you?"
Sí, dígame.
Sí, dígame.
The second part of the conversation takes place after Ben returns the passenger's wallet. Do you remember how the passenger says, "Thank you very much"?
Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Literally, many thanks, but it translates as, "Thank you very much."
Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Do you remember how Ben says, "You're welcome"? No hay de qué.
No hay de qué.
Literally, there is not of what, but it translates as, you're welcome.
No hay de qué.
No hay de qué.
After the train doors shut and Ben misses his train, do you remember how the passenger apologizes to Ben by saying, sorry?
Perdón.
Perdón.
Sorry.
Perdón.
Perdón.
The passenger feels responsible for Ben missing his train and is apologizing. Do you remember how Ben replies, no problem?
No hay problema.
This starts with
No.
which means no or not.
No. No.
Next is
Hay.
there is in this context.
Hay. Hay. Hay.
Is from the verb
Haber.
to have.
Haber.
Note, it translates as something like there is in this context. Last is
Problema.
problem.
Problema. Problema.
Altogether,
No hay problema.
literally means not there is problem, but translates as no problem.
No hay problema.
This is a common phrase used to express that things are all right.
Disculpa.
Is the informal form of
Disculpe. Disculpa.
excuse me.
Disculpa. Disculpa. Disculpa.
Is used in informal situations, such as when speaking with people of similar age and social status. They are both imperative forms of the verb,
Disculpar.
which means to excuse or to forgive. Let's look at the expressions once more. Listen and repeat or speak along. Pay attention to the body language.
Disculpe. Disculpe. Sí. Dígame. Sí. Dígame. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. No hay de qué. No hay de qué. Perdón. Perdón. No hay problema. No hay problema. Let's review. Respond to the prompts by speaking aloud, then repeat after me, focusing on pronunciation. Ready? Do you remember how to say "excuse me" to get someone's attention? Disculpe. Disculpe. And do you remember how to say yes? Sí. Sí.
Do you remember how to say, may I help you? Literally, tell me.
Dígame. Dígame.
And how the passenger says, yes, may I help you?
Sí. Dígame.
Sí. Dígame. Do you remember how to say thank you very much?
Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. And how to say you're welcome? No hay de qué. No hay de qué.
Do you remember how to say, sorry?
Perdón.
Perdón. And do you remember how to say it's no problem? No hay problema. No hay problema.
Let's practice. Imagine you're Karen Lee, and you receive a popular Mexican candy from your Spanish teacher. Say, "Thank you very much." Ready?
Muchas gracias.
No hay de qué.
Listen again and repeat.
Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias.
Let's try another. Imagine you're Mark Lee, and a passenger bumps into you. Respond by saying, "It's no problem." Ready?
Perdón.
No hay problema.
Listen again and repeat.
No hay problema. No hay problema.
Let's try one more. Imagine you're Mark Lee, and you see a man drop his wallet. Get his attention. Ready?
Disculpe.
Sí. Dígame.
Listen again and repeat.
Disculpe. Disculpe.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Monthly Review, the monthly show on language learning, where you discover new learning strategies, motivational tips, study tools, and resources. By the way, all the lessons and bonuses you're about to see can be downloaded for free on our website. So click the link in the description right now to sign up for your free lifetime account. Okay, today's topic is how to adjust your routine and learn language from home. Many of us are spending more and more time at home. So how do you make the best of this time and learn your target language? Learning at home can be tough with all the distractions. And in this episode, you're going to discover the pros and cons of learning at home and how to successfully learn from home without getting distracted. How to adjust your routine and learn language from home. Recently, many people have started to work and take classes from home. With language learning, since it's something people do in their own time, a lot of it is done at home anyway. But that doesn't mean that all of this hasn't affected how people learn. If you used a language learning app or listened to lessons during your commute, but you don't commute anymore, the pandemic has probably ruined your flow. With many of us spending more time at home, being able to learn from home efficiently is a good skill to have. Because while learning or working from home sounds good, it's not exactly easy to do. Part 1. The pros and cons of learning at home. First, the pros. There's convenience. You can learn whenever you want. You also have more time in the day since you're not commuting or walking from the train station into work. It's also easier to practice speaking. Many people might find it hard to practice on the train or at a lunch break or in the office during work. It might sound a little strange, but at home, you can dedicate more time to practicing speaking. What's your favorite pro of learning at home? Leave us a comment. Now, what about the cons? Distractions. There are a lot more distractions at home. There's the TV, there's the couch and the food and family members coming in and out. Next, there's no physical or mental separation between rest and work, which is crucial for focus. It's the same reason why people prefer going to the gym instead of working out from the comfort of their own home. If you're in a place where there's only one goal, like working out, and you're surrounded by people working out, you'll have no problem doing it. But if you're in a place you associate with rest, eating, and watching TV, you might have trouble focusing. But if you're spending more time at home, then you should at least make the best of it and learn your language at home. Part 2. how to successfully learn from home without getting distracted. So, here's how you do it. First, pick a dedicated place for learning, and preferably not your bed. Just like an office is associated with working time and your bedroom is associated with rest, you need a place associated with language learning. It could be your desk in the corner of the room. It could be your basement, as long as it's far from distractions and places of rest. Second, pick a time. That way, for example, when it's 9 p.m., you know it's time to put in 10 minutes of language learning. 3. Time box your study sessions. What's time boxing? Time boxing is simply setting a fixed amount of time for an activity. For example, you're going to dedicate the next 10 minutes to language and nothing else. If you usually have trouble concentrating, time boxing is a good way to set boundaries and get things done. 4. Start small. Just like with setting small, measurable goals and realistic routines, don't set aside 2 hours for study time. Instead, try to time box 5, 10, or 15 minutes and stick with that for a week or 2. You can always increase your time later once you get more comfortable with your routine. 5. Do multiple sessions in one day. Instead of trying to master a lesson and the lesson dialogue in one shot, space out your learning throughout the day, in the morning, afternoon, and at night. So take an audio or video lesson and read along with the lesson notes in the morning. You'll get acquainted with the conversation, all the words, and grammar rules. Don't rush to memorize it all. You'll come back to it later in the day. And do this for around 5 to 15 minutes. During the day, practice shadowing the dialogue. Practice recalling the words. Do this for around 10 minutes. You can also write out the lesson dialogue, practice using the grammar rules, or drill the words with flashcards. And at night, come back and review for about 10 minutes. You can re-listen to the lesson or just the dialogue track. By doing multiple sessions in one day, you'll be a lot more comfortable with the language, simply because you spaced out your learning and came back to review. And while it may feel repetitive, it's the repetition that helps you master the language over the long term. 6. Use at-home time to practice speaking more. It would be hard to practice if you were commuting or out on a walk, but if you're at home, you can easily speak out loud without drawing attention or feeling embarrassed. So, to recap, 1. Pick a specific place for learning that's far from distractions like your bed. 2. Pick a specific time for studying. 3. Time box your study sessions. 4. Start small. 5. Do multiple sessions in one day. And 6. Use at-home time to practice speaking more. So thank you for watching this episode of Monthly Review. Next time, we'll talk about the power of learning a language with someone else. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. And if you're ready to finally learn language the fast, fun, and easy way and start speaking from your very first lesson, get our complete learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Click the link in the description. See you next time. Bye! There are a lot of people working to learn another language. But there are also a lot of people who grew up speaking 2 or more languages without even thinking about it. If you're able to speak 2 languages, you're bilingual. If you can speak more, you're multilingual. In many countries, being bilingual or multilingual is normal or even expected. But in some countries, people grow up speaking and learning 1 language. If you speak 1 language, you're monolingual. So, what can monolinguals learn from bilinguals or multilinguals? This video will look at what it's like to be comfortable in 2 or more languages. Here are 6 pieces of information relating to bilingualism and multilingualism that you can use in your language learning. First, bilingualism and the brain. How does being bilingual or multilingual affect the brain? Do you dream in both languages? Do you see subtitles in your head for the other language as somebody's talking? The answers to questions like these are different for everyone. Some people may dream mostly in the language they're most comfortable with, and occasionally in another language. Some people may be able to effortlessly move between the languages they know, while others may get stuck from time to time. These are all normal parts of knowing more than 1 language. People who were exposed to another language since birth may have certain advantages in language acquisition over monolinguals. They may already be familiar with certain sounds and sound combinations that monolinguals are not familiar with.
As a language learner, you're probably quite familiar with this. If you've already mastered a language and have decided to start learning a new one, you're probably going to unconsciously make connections to words in different languages. You'll think to yourself, this word has the same vowel sound as another word I know, so it should sound pretty similar. When it comes to studying things like new vocabulary words and grammar, however, monolinguals, bilinguals, and multilinguals all need to spend time learning and memorizing. So in your own learning, don't be discouraged by people who speak your native language and your target language. They may have had a totally different learning experience than you. Consider your language studies, not language abilities. Second, language mistakes and confusion. You may be wondering if bilinguals ever confuse languages in their heads. Generally, people who are fluent in multiple languages can separate the languages mentally. However, there are situations where people momentarily forget words, even in our native languages, or we think of a word in one language but not in another. In some cases, we might even want to use a word that exists in one language but not in the other. An interesting concept from academic literature on this topic is perfect bilingualism. It's the idea that someone can speak two languages perfectly at an equally high level. Many people assume that someone who grew up speaking two languages would be able to use both of them perfectly and sound flawless, but this is generally not true. Bilingual people are often more comfortable talking about certain topics in specific languages. There are also situations where bilingual people may pronounce words with a slightly different accent than monolingual people. Interestingly enough, there's also a similar pattern among bilingual couples. Bilingual couples usually have a single dominant language. Even if they can speak another language with fluency and ease, people will usually use the language that's most efficient and comfortable. Third, bilingual societies. Can you imagine a place where you talk to your family in one language, your neighbors in another, your boss in a third, and write letters in a fourth? This might sound like a dream for many language enthusiasts, but in some societies, it's normal. This type of multilingual society occurs on border regions all throughout the world. In northern Iraq, for instance, people usually speak Kurdish, Turkish, and Iraqi Arabic, and many of them use modern standard Arabic and English at school. In some parts of China, people might learn English at school, speak their city's dialect of Mandarin when out shopping, speak standard Mandarin at work, and perhaps even speak another language when at home with their families. Some of these people might even say they're bad at languages. When people say this, it's often because they grew up using these languages, not learning them in school. When they were using a language at a friend's house and got their pronunciation corrected, there was no anxiety involved. This kind of learning is different than learning in a school setting, where tests and classrooms can cause pressure and discomfort. Media exposure plays a huge role, too. Many people around the world are functionally bilingual in English thanks to TV and YouTube. Sometimes parents, even in societies where people speak several languages, will put on educational English videos for kids to watch. But what's even more fun is something that's enjoyable for the kids that's already in English. You can do this too, as an adult language learner. There's a time and a place for coursework, but if you're able to shut off the learning part of your brain and simply absorb content you're interested in, you'll be surprised at what you can pick up after a couple of months. Fourth, heritage languages. You might know someone from an immigrant family who speaks a different language at home than they do with everybody else. That language is referred to academically as a heritage language. Basically, a language that someone learned at home without using it very much anywhere else. You can imagine that such an arrangement would produce huge variation in language ability. Some people have heritage languages that they learn from visiting their grandparents once a week. Others learn through rigorous homeschooling routines enforced by their parents. Heritage learners often have some marked differences in their speech compared to speakers who grew up in a monolingual environment. They might have an accent that's affected by the dominant language they grew up with, or they might feel uncomfortable using some grammar or vocabulary that they're not as familiar with. But on the other hand, they might be able to smoothly use things like tone, grammatical gender, and other aspects of language that are extremely difficult for learners to master. Their listening comprehension is also likely good. Another big difference is in reading and writing. You probably don't remember, but reading and writing took time to learn. It may be difficult to motivate yourself or a child to learn to read or write in a new language, especially if that language has a different and complicated script. We may be tempted to rely on the reading and writing skills we already have instead of learning something new. If you have a heritage language and you're working on reactivating it, be kind to yourself. Maybe you feel like you should know how to read or write in your heritage language, but you don't. And that's okay. You can work on building those skills as any other language learner would. A great way to build literacy is to read text with audio that you can listen to at the same time. You can use the lesson notes from our language learning program or watch videos with subtitles. This is easy to do from the comfort of your home. Fifth, gaining fluency in a second language. There's a lot of divided discussion about whether it's possible to learn a language to a native level. It's important to consider what native level means. Maybe a native speaker of your target language can talk about their work flawlessly, but they can't speak in depth about a topic beyond their field. You don't expect yourself to be able to talk about absolutely everything with 100% perfection in your native language, so don't expect that you'll magically be able to communicate perfectly in the language you're learning either. Moreover, it's important to remember that nobody speaks flawlessly all the time. We all make mistakes, and we know how to correct ourselves and clarify information. The best speakers in the world make mistakes, even on stage. Everybody's stumbled over their words before. Does that mean they're not fluent in their own language? Of course not. You can do some amazing things to get a native-like accent in a foreign language, but they all take a great deal of work. Lots of people convince others that they're native speakers for the first few minutes of conversation. Does it really matter if you end up making mistakes after 40 seconds? 40 minutes? Remember, the perfect speech is not required to speak like a native. As we've talked about in this video, lots of bilingual and multilingual people have strengths and weaknesses too. Sixth, can a bilingual person forget a language? Language skills can deteriorate over time if they're not used. If you're very busy with one language and rarely use the other, you might see a drop in your abilities in the language you don't use as often. Completely forgetting a language takes a very long time though. While you might forget a word here and there in one language, you likely won't lose a language completely unless you don't use it for decades. This is something to think about for anyone who is considering spending their life in another country. Make sure to keep your language skills up. Otherwise, as time goes on, things may be harder and harder to remember. Being bilingual or multilingual is pretty interesting. A lot of language learners compare themselves to bilinguals or multilinguals. Remember that bilingual and multilingual people put in work too, when they were kids. So don't feel discouraged if it seems like your own learning is slow. It simply takes time, and that's true for everyone. For even more tips and information related to language learning, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! If a native speaker of your target language spoke to you, how much of their speech do you think you could understand? Your answer, of course, depends a lot on your vocabulary skills. In this video, we're going to cover 5 tips for memorizing vocabulary quickly. When you learn new vocabulary words, you increase your skills in reading, writing, listening, and speaking. As you learn a language, you gain the ability to recognize vocabulary words and learn when to use them. It's important to have a vocabulary that covers a range of topics so that you can understand important announcements, safety information, conversations between friends, and posts on social media. In this video, we're going to talk about why vocabulary is important, some features and the tools we offer that help you focus on memorizing, and some tips for memorizing words faster. Throughout this video, remember that consistency is a key component to memorization. If you haven't done this already, consider adding a number of vocabulary words you'd like to master to your monthly language goals. Okay, let's get to our tips. First, master our core word lists. We offer 11 core word lists. These lists are made up of the most common words in your target language. The 100 core word list is the best list for absolute beginners. After you master that list, you can move on to the other lists in the series. The 2000 core word list is a combination of all of the lists plus an additional 1,000 words. Having knowledge of about 2,000 vocabulary words in your target language will set you up for success. Knowing a variety of words in your target language is important because it allows you to speak about and understand many different topics. While grammar is certainly important, having the vocabulary you need to go about daily life, study, or make plans is essential. So, how do you use the core word lists? With our flashcard feature. Our flashcard tool can display the vocabulary word, show a picture and translation, and play an audio recording of the vocabulary. You'll work on improving your recognition, production, and listening comprehension skills. Using a tool like this helps you associate new words with images. You also get to hear pronunciation and pitch accents from native speakers. You have the ability to choose how many new cards you'd like to learn daily. By the way, using the 2000 core word list isn't the only way to review all key vocabulary words. You can also merge your preferred lists. If you lack confidence in speaking, studying vocabulary can help you. If you master the most common words in your target language, speaking will become a bit easier. Among our core word lists are popular topics relating to hobbies, nature, food, and recreation. If you need some help making sentences with your new vocabulary, you can take a look at the core word list example sentences for ideas. These are all steps you can take to improve your speaking confidence. Second, create your own sentences. Creating your own sentences is a great way to work on memorizing new vocabulary. You can create sentences related to your daily life so that you can easily remember the sentences and use them. You can also try creating sentences you think you're likely to need before a conversation with a native speaker. In addition to our core word lists, we also have a dictionary feature. If you need help finding a certain vocabulary word, you can search for it in our dictionary. The dictionary includes audio from native speakers, so you can hear how the word is pronounced naturally and at a slower speed. With a premium membership, you'll have access to your own personal word bank. You'll be able to add words from the dictionary and our lessons to this word bank and study them using flashcards. Another thing that can help you with memorization is reading along with lesson dialogues and listening to the host's explanations. When you find a sentence that stands out, or when you make a sentence you think will be useful, make sure to actually use the sentence. Your memory will grow stronger and stronger as you review sentences and practice saying them from memory. Third, read every day. How often do you read in your target language? Reading is a fun activity that can motivate you to spend some time studying new vocabulary. When you read, you encounter words you've seen in lessons, but you also find new words. Apart from reading for fun, our language learning program offers reading comprehension pathways for all levels. These pathways feature video lessons with vocabulary you're likely to see in real life. For example, an advanced pathway might include lessons for understanding promotional information, medical instructions, and directions. These pathways are designed to test your ability to recognize words. Another way to memorize words fast is by learning songs in your target language. If you're studying a language with sounds that are very different from your first language, this can be a really helpful tactic. You can make a monthly goal to memorize 1 to 3 songs you like in your target language. You can find the lyrics to the song with a search online, and you can search for a translation as well. As you listen to the song, read the lyrics. This can help you connect the sounds you're hearing with the characters or the letters you're reading. And remember, the songs can be from anywhere. It could be a kid's song, a new pop song, or a TV show theme. You can choose. The key is to find a fun way to read every day. This will help you improve your vocabulary. Fourth, test your listening skills. Test your listening skills with our listening comprehension pathways. Each of the pathways presents a conversation, asks a question, and then gives a breakdown. In our audio lessons, the hosts break down the dialogue by talking about the usage of key vocabulary and phrases. They also explain the grammar. After you listen to the breakdown, the dialogue is easier to understand. Make sure to re-listen to the lesson dialogues to review these important concepts. Another way to use our site for listening comprehension is by changing the flashcard settings. With our flashcards, you have the option to focus on building listening comprehension. If you choose this setting, the front of your flashcard will play an audio clip, and the back will show the answer. Additionally, if you're a Premium Plus member, you can practice listening with your native speaker teacher. You can request audio responses from your teacher instead of text. If you understand their message, you can respond with an audio file of your own, or with text. If you don't fully understand, you can ask your teacher for help.
One more thing you can do is use TV shows to practice listening. You can choose a segment of a show to practice. Watch it once with subtitles, then once without subtitles. Determine how much you can comprehend. Then look up the words you don't know. Fifth, take vocabulary quizzes. There are many ways to test yourself with vocabulary quizzes. Each of our lessons includes a vocabulary slideshow and quizzes that you can use for review. We also have video vocab pathways, which introduce new vocabulary based on certain themes, and they include pictures. You can also try making your own written tests with our flashcard feature. Change the flashcard settings according to your preferences. You can choose between recognition, production, and listening comprehension card types. Based on the card type you chose, write down either the vocabulary word or its translation when the card appears. Check your answers and give yourself a score for your study session. Writing vocabulary by hand is another great way to work on memorizing words. Earlier, we talked about learning vocabulary with songs. A fun and effective way to test your vocabulary and writing skills is to fill in the blanks. Copy and paste the lyrics of a song into a document and replace some of the words with blanks. Test your knowledge of the lyrics by filling in the blanks with the correct words. You can make it a little easier by including a word box, a list of vocabulary to use somewhere in the song. You can also do this with dialogues you want to practice from TV shows. To make sure you get all of the tools mentioned in this video, subscribe to our premium plan. You'll get access to all of our resources, including the core word lists and the flashcard tool. So, to recap, in this video we talked about 5 tips for memorizing new words. They were: master our core word lists, create your own sentences, read every day, test your listening skills, and take vocabulary quizzes. These tips are fun and effective ways to help you reach your vocabulary goals a bit faster. If you want to go the extra mile, subscribe to Premium Plus to get access to your own native teacher. What are your vocabulary goals? How will you achieve them? Share your answers in the comment section below. And for even more tips on how to remember vocabulary fast, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! Consistent hard work is one of the biggest factors that determine someone's success, and it's true for language learning too. While it's important to choose a course and study method that's right for you, at the end of the day, the results you see are a product of the effort you put in. However, the quantity of time spent studying a new language doesn't necessarily determine the quality of your study. Spending 3 hours a day watching movies doesn't help you learn much if you're not actively engaging with the language. In this video, we'll talk about how to actively engage your mind while studying. Number 1. Think of your brain as a muscle. You might be familiar with the phrase, feel the burn, or maybe no pain, no gain. If you've been to your local gym recently, there's a chance you might have heard one of these phrases or seen something similar on a poster on a wall. In the world of sports and workouts, there's a common idea that the discomfort you feel when running, lifting weights, or doing some other physical activity is what brings results. The discomfort you feel is your muscles being pushed to their limit. It's the limit pushing that strengthens your muscles so that over time your performance increases. In the context of language learning, it's helpful to think of your brain as a muscle being trained. Just as we need to push against our physical limits when exercising, we also need to push our mental ones when learning a foreign language. Have you ever studied or practiced your target language in a way that left you tired or even exhausted? If so, you've experienced what it's like to push your brain out of its linguistic comfort zone. Number 2, practice active listening. One of the easiest ways to push your language skills is to practice active listening. Active listening is when you listen to spoken language and do your best to understand what you hear. The best way to accomplish this is by using audio that you can't completely understand on the first listen. Preferably, you want to use audio that has subtitles or transcripts in your target language for you to double-check your understanding after you listen to it. You can use movies, YouTube clips, or our lessons. During this exercise, you might feel like you're able to pick out only a few words here and there. During this practice session, you should listen to the audio several times. The first time around, it's okay if no words or just a few words stick out to you. Simply make a mental note of any words or sounds you recognize. The second time you listen, you're likely to recognize a little more than you did the previous time. Expect similar results with your third or even fourth time listening. When you reach a point where you can't understand any more words, go ahead and look at the subtitles or transcripts. Listen to the audio again and read along with the text. Odds are that you'll see words in the text you know, but didn't hear correctly. You're also likely to encounter words that are new to you completely. As you play back the audio and read along, try to guess what these words mean from the context of the words around them. After you've read along a couple times, look up the unfamiliar words in a dictionary or translator app. This active listening exercise routine is a great way to increase your listening and comprehension skills, while picking up some new vocabulary along the way. It also allows you to learn new words in context, which itself is a powerful way to help you retain what you study. Number 3, practicing with native speakers. Practicing with native speakers is the best way to push your language skills. Using what you've studied to communicate in real time is how you'll really challenge yourself. Try to connect with a native speaker on a weekly basis. Remember, consistency is important when you're learning a foreign language. If you live in a large metropolitan area, then there's a chance that there are some local native speakers nearby. Try visiting a local language exchange or meetup group to make the necessary connections. If you're unable to find a practice partner locally, then you can take your search online. There are a number of sites that help you find and connect with other language learners from around the world. For example, if you're a native English speaker learning a new language, you can find a native speaker of your target language who is learning English. There are tons of language learners around the world who have learned or are learning a second language. You're likely to find someone who knows your target language and is looking to improve his or her English. Learning a new language isn't always easy, but it's the discomfort that comes with pushing your ability in the language that produces results in your studies. Don't be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone. It's okay to move far outside of your native language. You'll expand your mind and your skills. Also remember that language learning is in every way a lot like an adventure. There will be fun times and times when it feels like you're swimming upstream. It's by keeping your head up through these ups and downs that you will experience the satisfaction that comes with learning a foreign language. Keep moving ahead. And for even more tips on how to engage better in your language learning, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! Great work! Here's a reward. Speed up your language learning with our PDF lessons. Get all of our best PDF cheat sheets and ebooks for free. Just click the link in the description.